All right, y'all, welcome to the Mad Rhythms Podcast Network. This is the Either And Podcast, and I'm your host, Brill Barrett. When there's contention and controversy, most people believe the solution has to be either or. I believe the solution lies somewhere in either and. All right, y'all, welcome to the Either And Podcast. I can't even talk. The podcast. I'm your host, Brill Barrett, and joining me today is some of Chicago's tap legends. Let's start right here. Talk to me, Taps. You got to put that folder down at some point. You just rattling papers in the...
I can talk and rattle. Ask me a question.
Yeah,
man.
the mic don't like it, though. The mic don't like it.
1, 2, 1, 2.
That's Mr. Taps, a.k.a. Ayrie King III, one of my first teachers. Next up, we got...
Payne.
Jimmy Payne Jr. Talk to me. What's up? What's your connection? What's your tap lineage? Where do you come from in the tap diaspora?
My dad was Jimmy Payne Sr., who taught in Chicago, New York, taught Reggio.
Okay, wait, hold on. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Taps. It was like my dad.
Okay.
Try it again.
Okay, my dad was Jimmy Payne Sr., famous teacher in Chicago, New York. Taught Reggio's first teacher. Of course, he taught me.
Okay. Next to Mr. Jimmy Payne is Mr. Martin Trey, Dumas III. Trey, what's your tap lineage?
Hi there. I grew up at...
Wait, you made me snort in my own podcast.
Oh, man.
Go ahead.
I grew up at Mayfair Academy of Fine Arts, which was Chicago South Side. It was Tommy Sutton's school. Grew up there, started... had my first, teaching experiences there when I was like 16-ish. And, yeah, man, that's my home. That was where I learned all my basics.
Okay.
Did tap, jazz, a little bit of acrobatics back in the day. I don't flip no more. But, yeah, that's my home, Mayfair Academy.
Very cool, very cool. And next to Trey is none other than the Reggio, the Hoofer McLaughlin.
Yes, an American national treasure.
That's right.
Here all the way
now, what makes you a national American treasure? Talk to me about that. What's that about?
What makes you a national American treasure is that the fact in 2021 I received the highest award from the nation, and this award is given by the president. So I received congratulations from President Joe Biden, and hey, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I say that with myself, but as you can see, I have a piece in my soul of tap that represents everybody in this tap world, especially here in Chicago, from Trey to Jimmy to Taps to you, and whoever else I miss.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And give me your legacy. I know Jimmy said your dad, his dad was your first teacher?
Yeah, Jimmy Payne Sr. was my first tap teacher. He taught me a very solid basis, foundations of tap. Mm-hmm. And then further up the road is I got with Ernest Brownie Brown,
okay,
the original co-founding members of the Copacetic. And that's where I was able to start putting it all together, like the bits and pieces into the total picture,
Okay. Yeah, keep your mouth right on that mic the whole time.
Yeah, man.
Taps. Let's talk about your legacy for starters. Where did your entry into the tap world start, and who was connected to that?
Well, actually, we had a community center right on the block on the south side of Chicago,
mm-hmm.
In the hundreds, like 104th and Racine.
Do you remember the name of that community center?
It was called Washington Heights.
Okay.
And they had us in drama,
mm-hmm.
dance, basketball, all type of sports. So I was introduced to tap dancing at about the age of 9.
Okay.
And I had tap dancing for about 3 weeks, and the tap instructor, maybe 4, and the tap instructor, she left.
You remember that tap instructor's name?
Don't have a clue.
Okay.
And then after that, I went to Kennedy King College.
Okay.
Okay, and I picked tap back up and theater through Mr. Williams. Who else was there? I can't think of these names. But while I was at Kennedy King College, I stumbled on a tap dancing class that was there. So I had been tap dancing ever since. So at that time, I stopped tap dancing.
Who was teaching that class at Kennedy King?
This lady name was Miss Sanders. It was a white lady.
Okay.
Her name was Miss Sanders, but she was real cool though. Just cool, man.
Okay.
So I started tapping, and then she started letting me teach the class. Well, watch the class. She started letting me watch the class. When she leave and go, she had me watching everybody that was tapping and make sure that their stuff was clean. So I was looking, so that, that started getting me more involved, especially when she told me, you make great sound, man. Because she was real cool. She was like, man, you make great sound, man. So then, boom, the head grew and everything. Okay. So then, there was a big gap. Okay. I had the 3 weeks of tap dancing when I was 9. Okay, like 3 to 4 weeks. Then I had that big giant gap, and I never tapped again until I started at Kennedy King College. Okay. But I got in the theater. But first, I stumbled on that tap dance class there, and it was like, man, that was like, it was a liberal arts school, but I went straight at that tap dance. Like, wow, I picked it back up. Now watch this. I picked it back up, and then they called me in the theater to tap dance. So that's how I got in the show, and I met Harold Washington. Harold, the director. Harold Coro. Okay. So when I met him, he gave me a chance to get in that theater. So when I got in that theater, so I picked up a lot, man. Wow. Some showmanship, clean, get this right. But I still was wild with it, though. Okay. Then after that, right nearby Kennedy King College is when I came across Bobby Murphy. Okay. Okay, and that's when I got that private instructors, okay? Private lessons, because I was doing a lot of street stuff. Yeah. And he said, don't come in here with that blank. Street blank.
You want me to fill the blank in?
No, man. I'm trying not to step in it, man.
Yeah, we do have children that'll be listening to the podcast.
So Bobby Murphy. Bobby Murphy really gave me that, like, clean that up. Okay. Clean it up because my stuff was muffy.
Now, let me interrupt you very quickly. Does anybody else have a connection to Bobby Murphy? Because the first time I ever heard that name was from you. I've never heard it in Chicago's tap dance history lineage. So he was a tap dancer living in Chicago.
Yeah, man.
Was it his studio that you walked into?
I'm trying to think of this other dancer because his wife was a professional dancer. Okay. Mamie, and she had a friend that was light-skinned that I know you know her if I say her name because she was Cuban or something, the other lady. You told me about her. Yeah, man, and last name Far. I'm trying to get her first name, but she was a fabulous dancer because she told me to incorporate my arms because man, I was just all feet, man. So when she brought my arms in there.
Is that the one you should teach out of her house?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you should teach out of her house. I remember you telling me.
Yeah, and they took me around doing shows. Now I'm in the theater. I'm new, green behind the ears. I'm in the theater. But when I took the private tap lessons, now they was doing shows. Okay. So they had me featured a little bit in there.
Do you remember any of the places?
Any of the places?
Those shows were happening?
The shows?
Any of them? One or two?
I know one was Drury Lane. Okay. That was one, yeah. Okay. And then the other ones was like small vendors, excuse me. Small vendors like banquet halls. Banquet halls. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And so that was Bobby Murphy, and we're gonna do our research and find out who that other dancer was.
Bobby Murphy, and then Bobby Murphy Jr. was a sound recording sound.
Like an engineer?
Yeah.
Like a sound engineer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and his wife, Minnie, Minnie Murphy was a professional dancer, man, with all that, elaborate costumes and feathers. And hats.
Okay.
Hats, about 7 feet tall hats. Okay. Yeah, man. They really got me into something. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
What years? Like right around what year?
Okay, we talking about the we talking about the 80s.
Okay. Early 80s, late 80s?
Early 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. 81, 82, 83. Yeah. That's when I was being pumped right there. And I was working downtown. Now watch this. And I was working downtown, man. I was working a full-time job at the Continental Plaza Hotel, but now it's the Westin, 909 North Michigan Avenue.
Okay.
I was working down there in banquets.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so
I just learned something new.
So now watch this. I'm taking that train now. Going to Kennedy King. Taking the train. I'm seeing them horn blowers. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Watch this now. Hey man, I'm making $6.50 an hour at the hotel, man. And I'm waiting on the train, and I'm watching a horn player, man. Look, before I get on the train, they make $30, man.
Yeah.
And it's only been 20 minutes or 15 minutes waiting on that train. And I started seeing this, man. $6.50 an hour at the hotel. Got a pair of tap shoes. Okay.
So about what year did you officially start street performing? Or around?
83.
83. Okay.
83. I gotta watch this year. 83. Maybe 82 and a half.
Okay, somewhere between 82 and 83.
Something like that, man.
Okay.
Something like that. Because, because we coming close to you now.
Yeah, so we're going to, I don't want you to get to me
I
yet.
know you don't. Okay. Not yet, man.
Before we
because I'm going to go at it, man.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm going to come for it, man.
I can't wait.
Yes, man.
But before we get there, Reggio.
I'm going to put my new teeth in, too.
Yeah, man.
Reggio.
Yeah, man.
How did you start tap dancing? How did you get into this? How did you learn?
I got into it. I have a large family, 5 sisters, a couple more brothers. And my mother used to send us to the Chicago Park District after school programs, So we was living around 63rd Stony Island over there, Jackson Park Field House, what they was calling them back then. And my sister and them were taking tap classes there. And then the boys would be on the other side of the gym. The guys.
Do you remember who was teaching those tap classes?
Oh, no, because I didn't take those classes. After the end of the program each year, they'll have a big showcase of what all the kids learned during the summer in these after-school programs.
Okay.
And that's where I saw tap. I was about 6, 7 years old.
Okay.
And when I saw the program, and, man, they were all tapping. And my sister and them with whole group, man, that sound, that rhythm, it was turns and everything. It just fascinated me. Love at first sight. Man, I got to do this. And it haunted me for the rest of my life until I started doing it.
Wow.
Like no way out, man.
So when people say I didn't choose tap, tap chose me, it chose you and you, but you didn't answer at first.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And it kept choosing you.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that.
Let me go, man. It was just like, whether you like it or not, man, you're going to be a hoofer, and that was it.
What years was this? Give me some time period.
Man, you just saying it because you keep trying to figure my age, man. I'm telling you. No.
It was in the 30s.
That's why I didn't ask.
I better answer for myself.
Early 30s.
Look, I didn't ask you a specific year because I know you don't be trying to say that. Give me a time period.
I'm talking about when I saw it then, it could have been like in the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like that, around 60s, something like that.
Okay.
La 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 la.
Okay, and then Continue.
Oh, okay.
What comes next?
And then I used to get my sisters to show me a step or two, you know, and that's when I would put the bottle caps on my shoes and gym shoes, trying to make that sound. And I asked my sister, show me a step, show me a little step, you know.
Okay.
And then she'd kind of show me a step. But at that time, you know, my mother wasn't sending me to no dance school when I got a little older and stuff. So I just had to do it from there. And as I got older, and then I would like tap, I had a whole long gap period.
How long was your gap period?
Oh, really long, man. 10 years, 12, 14, 15 years. And then I met a young lady who was studying, taking dance. And she would say, she told me, I told her that I wanted to learn how to tap, but I didn't know no teachers at the time in Chicago. And she said, oh, I know my my dance teacher who I'm studying Afro-Cuban with teaches tap. And I say, yeah. And she said, yeah. What's the name? She said, Jimmy Payne.
Okay.
Senior, yeah. And then she took me to introduce to Jimmy Payne. And that was a time, man, nobody tapped no more, man. My God. And but I went to Jimmy, man, and hey, he started me from ground up, man.
Okay.
Laid a solid foundation. Jimmy also had a reputation as being known as one of the best teachers around wherever he went, man. And I'm so glad that he was my first teacher.
Okay.
He gave me a solid foundation to build from. Once I had that, man, I was like on my way. I was on my way.
What years did you study with Mr. Jimmy Payne?
Jimmy Payne Jr. You remember when I was taking classes?
What's interesting is when he was studying. I didn't want to tap. I used to see Reggio, and I used to see Mr. Taps. And I just knew. I say, hey, I'm not going to do that. He did. I said, I'm not going to do that. That wasn't my aspiration, you know, to tap dance. And I saw Reggio quite a bit. I saw Mr. Taps quite a bit. But that had to be like 80. Yeah. 80, that had to be like 87, 88. 89.
Yeah. You're right, because you'll come by the studio and wave and talk to Dad, and he'll go. and his father be like, I've been trying to get my son to tap and everything. You know, I say, okay. And, you know, and his father was cool. He used to take me around with him sometime. Like, if he hurt his leg or something, I would demonstrate for him and stuff. And then finally, down the line, you start tapping, man. Yep. I don't know. You got to tell.
Well, yeah. So I mean, that's a natural lead-in. So what brought you into tap?
My first gig was he just showed me the flyer.
Wow.
Was in '89.
Okay.
And we danced. Mr. Taps went on first, and I saw him tap, and I just knew I couldn't follow him. It was me and my brother. So my dad had a little routine for us. You know what I'm saying? We got on stage, but. When I saw Mr. Taps
what's your brother's name?
Byron Payne.
Byron Payne,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And
did y'all have a group name?
Well, no. We wanted to be, as children, we wanted to be like the Nicholas brothers.
Okay.
But that kind of faded. You know what I'm saying? Once we moved to the projects.
Had to do them flips and splits, man.
So you wasn't jumping over each other.
I know. I was like, y'all ain't jumping down those stairs.
It was more like reality hit us, you know what I'm saying? And that's the way I could describe it. It was just like, you know, we had this, you know, idea as kids, like, okay, we wanted to do this, but, I mean, reality was something totally different. So, I mean, basically, you know, we didn't want to tap. So, I got back into it around like 90, really started feeling it. And I picked up the basics and made my own stuff.
So your first gig was in '89.
Yeah, with Mr. Taps.
And then in '90, you really, by 90, really started.
I say about 92, 93, I really started feeling it. Like, okay, I could do this.
Okay. Okay. And then your sister.
My sister, Sarah. She actually.
What was her entry?
So Sarah came from the Army. Sarah was in the Army.
Okay.
From like 92 to 98. No, I would say 90, 91 to about 95.
Okay.
So she came home, and I was tapping. I was like, Sarah, we need to get a group together. And we just started doing our basics, and it developed from there. Yeah.
What was the name of that group?
Perfect Timing.
How long did Perfect Timing do that thing?
So I would say from about 98 to 2005.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a long time.
Yeah. So before we move any further in your story, Trey, what's your story? What's your entry into the dance?
Let's see.
I remember Trey when he started.
I started. Let's see. I went to Mayfair when I was just about to turn 8 years old. I had tried a few different things. My parents were like, I had a lot of energy as a kid.
Okay.
And they were trying to find structured activities.
Okay.
Because I was just a wild child.
What?
Couldn't sit still.
You?
Couldn't sit still. So, and so I guess my aunt was a professional dancer. My dad's youngest sister was a professional dancer.
Okay.
She used to dance out at the Saber room.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So she,
We tapped that before.
was talking about the big headgear and all
Yeah.
that. So she was doing that. She, the fire dance and all of that stuff. She was doing that.
And what was her name?
Taryn.
Okay.
Taryn Dumas, now Taryn Hampton.
Okay. And wait, before you move on, the Saber room. Did anybody else have connections in the Saber room?
Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
Serious, man.
Okay. What? Real
got
quick.
something.
What was your connection in the Saber room?
And I thought about that dancer, Bobby Murphy's other dance teacher name was Gloria Farr.
Gloria Farr. Oh.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Saladin.
Okay.
Gloria Farr was one of my dad's. She danced with my dad.
I was talking about Gloria Farr, light skinned. You know what I'm talking about?
Gloria
Yeah.
Farr,
She did.
She danced in my dad's Afro-Caribbean group.
Wow. See,
Yeah.
I know Gloria.
Because she gave me the arms.
Yeah, because she
The
does.
arms,
she does
man. Because
all
I
that.
was.
Yeah, they do. Her and Saladin do the salsa congreso.
Yeah.
And so that's crazy.
Yeah,
I know
man.
who you talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of people think they're a couple, but they're not. Both of them are married separately.
yeah.
But Saladin and
Light
Gloria.
skin, short. Yeah. Look like Prince.
I thought you danced some with
That's
Sadie
good.
Bruce.
That's good. No. I just went. I heard of the name and stuff like that. And yeah,
Well,
I went and
the
looked
first
in the
time
studio.
step you taught me was a Sadie Bruce time step.
Yeah,
I knew it.
See, I got it from somewhere.
Yeah.
I got it from somewhere, man.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay, so
Back to the
Saber room. Gloria
Yep.
Farr was a connection there. Your
Mm-hmm.
sister,
My aunt.
I mean your aunt was dancing there. And what's your connection at
My
the Saber room?
What people don't know, I was walking down the street and I went in this club and I saw this guy practicing and rehearsing with some young ladies. Lester Goodman is his name.
Okay.
Lester Goodman been around, man. He lived about 100-some years old. So I walked up to Lester. He taught had a chorus line girl group and asked him do he tap. I was trying to learn to tap. And he told me he didn't, but he was going out to the Saber room and they had a tap dancer. And I went out there and the tap dancer's name is Bobby Ephraim, man.
Okay.
Flat-footed dancer, man.
Okay.
And
So that's
now-
another name. And
Yeah.
I confused
I had him
Bobby,
too.
Bobby Murphy with
Bobby Ephraim.
Bobby Ephraim.
Yeah.
And Bobby Ephraim was good.
Okay.
Yeah.
He went up to New York. They
because you turned me on to him.
Yeah, because they
Bobby
even
Ephraim.
tried to even get Bobby.
Yeah, man.
They tried to get Bobby to be in the
he
original
was-
copacetic, but he wouldn't. He was
Ugly.
alone. But anyway, Bobby Ephraim was up there, and then I became friends with Bobby.
Okay.
And then pretty soon his rad broke down one time, and then he started asking me to take him up there. And then he
Yeah.
started showing me. I was asking, man, teach me something. But people don't know. That's where my flat foot style comes from, Bobby Ephraim.
Okay.
And then eventually, after him, periodically they would call me to come up there and perform.
What years were all the different involvements at that
You talk
place?
somewhere in the 90s for me.
Okay.
And in case people don't know it, the Saber Room was huge.
Yep.
Had about 5, 6, 7, 8 banquet halls in
Right.
there.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
it was a supper club.
Okay.
It
Yeah.
had a stage that lit up. And they used to put on big
Right.
big Las Vegas type performance.
Okay.
They had chorus line girls, like it was totally like Las Vegas. They usually
Okay.
had a comedian, a tap dancer, a female vocalist, and maybe a male vocalist. But it
Okay.
was like a whole Las Vegas type show.
Got it.
Some big names
Yeah.
that performed
Yeah.
there too.
Okay.
And I got
okay.
booked there like 10 times, man.
Yeah.
By this guy, one of the bookers there. His name was Rudy.
Okay.
He looked at real big and giant, like white guy that had this like he didn't have no
white
expression.
family on
Right.
everything.
He didn't have no expression, man.
Rudy.
It's just like, okay, you're next. You going?
Yeah.
No expression, man. He looked like a mafia dude. Okay,
Yeah, I
you're
know
next.
Rudy.
You're
He
next.
called me.
Yeah,
he
I've been up
called
there
me
about
to
10
dance.
times, man.
Yeah.
Christmas shows.
Yeah, I should do
All
all
that.
those.
Saber room.
Yeah,
Saber,
and they
Hickory
closed it
Hill.
down, man.
You know when it closed down?
Wiped it out like a few years back.
But we done something there. I feel like we did something at the Saber room early
One
on.
of them banquet rooms because they rented out a lot of.
Yeah,
They had a main,
I was in the big one, the main
the
one,
main
man.
room
like,
is
like,
where they have all the
with the
dinners.
lights, and they got the lights on the side. They light up. They light up.
I love this. I love
man.
this. So,
what I was gonna say about that? Yeah, but Hickory Hills, Illinois, where is that?
Yeah,
90, West on 95th.
95th.
Okay.
Way over.
Yeah, across Robert Road.
Yeah.
okay.
You know what? And then when
Next
they
to
start
Justice.
building those other banquet halls, the Condesta Del Mar and all those
Yeah.
other places, they start taking their crowd away.
Yeah.
They
So the
start-
Saber room was kind of the only one for a long time.
Oh, big
Oh
time.
man,
Okay.
big
Yeah,
time.
amazing place.
Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis, all them go out there.
So let's connect back to you, Trey. So your aunt was dancing at the Saber room.
Right. She was dancing at the Saber room. My parents were looking for some activities to put me in. They had tried like piano lessons and some other things, but that required me to sit still.
I'm trying to imagine you at the piano right now.
So yeah. Anyway, so my aunt suggested a friend of hers by the name of Tracy Green was teaching tap at Mayfair.
Okay.
And she was getting ready to start an all boys class. So my aunt suggested that my parents try taking me over there.
Okay.
And I went over there, and the first 3 weeks I was there, I was in 3 different classes.
Okay.
Each time I went, they was like, "Well, he can already do this class." So it's all the like the really basic stuff that you would do like in a combination class.
Right.
5 years old, like I was like, I progressed past that stuff really fast. So the first things I really learned was Tommy Sutton's exercises 1 and 2.
What year about?
I was just about to turn 8 when I went there, so that would have been 78.
Okay.
Been 78, right? August of 78 was my first year there.
Okay. And then you stayed there.
I stayed
For
there
quite a while.
Yeah, I was there until I went away to school. I was there until I turned 18, and around 16 was when I finally got my first teaching experience.
Okay, man, these connections are crazy. Go ahead, Tops.
I left out one big chunk.
Okay.
How I got inspired to want to be in show business.
Okay,
and want to
okay.
perform. I was in my teens. I was a teenager. Okay, I was in a place called Elkhart, Indiana. Okay, Elkhart, Indiana, with my cousins, and we was at a teen center, man. You know, shooting pool. You know, where all the teenagers hang out at. You know, we shooting pool or we, you know, dance or a place. Shake them up. What they here for? No,
For all the children listening, no gambling was had at this teen center.
And this is what happened. This is what happened.
Said he gonna edit this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I ain't editing nothing. This going out just like this.
Yeah, this what happened, Reg. Check it out, man.
Yeah,
I'm shooting pool, man. You know, I'm with my cousins and we shooting pool. Okay? And then they said tonight we're gonna have some entertainment. So they had some live entertainment. Now this guy came from South Bend. South Bend, Indiana, man. And he got up there and danced, man. And they had the he did that. They had a strobe light going, and he did that with the white gloves. And that strobe light was blinking. I was standing there with that pool stick, man. I couldn't take my eyes off of him, man. Man, that strobe light was going, and he was doing that, the pop locking and this and that, and I'm holding that pool stick. I said, "That's me, man. That's me." And I left that out. Thank you, because my fiance reminded me, Ross. She texted me and told me I left that out, man.
Oh, good. Thank you.
And that was the number one thing that got me in show business.
Okay.
Because I saw that, man, it just, that's me.
We'll be calling you up tonight, bro, talking about, hey, man, I left out something. Yeah, I forgot about this.
No, put it on the text.
Look.
Put it on the text, Rich.
Look, there can be a part 2. There can be a part 3. There can be
yeah.
Look, this is, people need to know this about Chicago's history, entertainment, tap dance, where we come from, what we do, and the dues we've paid in this game. So we'll keep doing as many of these as we need to. Beyond the book chapter.
We got so many dancers that came before us.
Yeah.
People don't know the 4 Step Brothers was living here.
Yeah,
I met
tell me about that,
Maceo.
Reggio.
Melba Cartwell, who you mentioned
Who
before,
was our manager
that was y'all
before?
manager. Matter of fact, she probably
Didn't Melba manage you at one time, Taps? Melba Caldwell?
I did some shows through Fino, the Talking Mind.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah.
Fino.
Wait, the Talking Mind?
Yeah, he was a Talking Mind. Yeah.
Named Fino, man.
Yeah, man. And Fino was a hustler, though, man.
He was.
Man, Fino taught me, look, Fino was a hustler, man.
Yeah.
He was doing schools and everything. Look, man, look.
Yeah.
650s, man. Fino, man, taught me, man.
Yeah, he was a
I had to repeat that to make sure that
The Talking Mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he do something like,
But he would be talking. It's a window.
it's a window, it's a wall?
I am opening the door. Oh yeah, but man, he taught me the game, man.
Okay.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what was I talking about before we
yeah.
got to Fino? I remember Fino. What was I talking
Wow.
about?
Look, I forgot. I'm all about the Talking Mind, right?
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Fino.
Oh, Melba Caldwell.
Oh, Melba Caldwell.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Melba, but they didn't know. I was saying that, we probably would have to do some more podcasts because we need to, talk about all the other tap dancers coming out of Chicago before us. But anyway, Melba, who booked probably a lot of us, because to me, I think she was the only one booking tap dancers here. But then, no, she wanted to introduce me to Maceo Anderson of the 4 Step Brothers, because I was telling you that her male friend was L with the 4 Step Brothers, and she was working for him at the agency there, and then eventually she took over that whole agency. But anyway,
remember what was Al's last name? Al.
I'm talking about from the 4 Step Brothers.
Okay,
From the 4 Step.
Yeah,
Brothers.
I'm trying to think. I know that.
Who was the guy that lived on 95th Street that lived in that studio with that lady?
Was that Prince?
Oh, no. I know you're talking about.
That wasn't him, but
no. He was, because he danced in his Cotton Club and all of that. Robert really liked him. I get back to him. But I get back to him.
Okay.
But Sonny Montgomery.
Okay.
Yeah, he was here. But so many dancers were coming out of Chicago. But anyway, Maceo had a daughter here that he would go and stay with during the summer for a few months. And then she said, when Maceo come in town, Reggio, I'm going to call him up and I'm going to, introduce you guys and maybe y'all can get together and do some things. So that's how I met Maceo.
Do you know where Maceo lived? What neighborhood?
Yeah, out south on off around 90-something, around Cottage Grove. It was a little complex up in there. You turn 98th or something, you turn up in there. That's where his daughter stayed.
Okay.
And he was staying.
Is that the Manor?
No, that's
you go up in there. Yeah, you go up in that. Yeah, there were a lot of little townhouse, everything. You turn up in there on 90-something. That's where his daughter stayed, and he used to. So that's where I met Macy. So I would go over there and get Maceo, and then Maceo would work with me on the flips and them because they was doing all of that.
The flash.
Flash dancing, and that's Maceo would work with me. Oh man, them guys. Oh man. Before you even put on your tap shoes, they burn you out with duck walks and push-ups, run around this, you do that, and then when you about to faint, say, all right, now put your tap shoes on. And it was so funny. When he would teach me, he'll fall asleep. In about 10 minutes, you hear Mace.
While he was teaching you?
Yeah. And then he'd show me a combination. As soon as I mess up, and hit a wrong lick or something, he wakes up. Hey, I heard that. Do it again. You do it again. Look up, he sleep.
You don't wake up unless you get it wrong.
Yeah. Then when I mess up, he wakes up. I heard that. What was that? Man, okay, that's it. You got it. That's how Mason.
So did all four of them live here at some point?
Yeah. They worked out of here because they were doing like all
Prince
of those.
Spencer had the grocery store.
The grocery store, all night grocery store, and all of them, and because they was working at all the Vaudeville downtown theaters, man. Chicago Theater and all of that. They were working there, man. So all of them was here.
Okay.
Man, you can't, man. Pretty much all these tap dancers were living and working out of Chicago.
Who else do you remember that lived there that we may not realize?
This guy, Rudy Horn. You remember your father?
Like a
Vaudeville, right?
He was Rudy was more like a, I guess, an eccentric dancer.
Eccentric dancer, yeah.
So
that's what they used to call
the scarecrow guy.
Ray Bolger.
Ray Bolger.
Yeah, so he was like kind of second to Ray Bolger. He was pretty popular.
Yeah,
and he was also a magician. He was a singer. He was an MC. Really talented.
And him and your father was pretty tight.
Yeah,
too,
they were real tight,
your father
man.
would talk about him. And I got an old tape that this guy did on Channel 11 called Vanishing Vaudeville. And he talks about a lot of the Chicago theaters and number of acts.
He knew my dad from the early 30s.
Yeah,
and
man, Rudy.
in the 80s, they ran into each other in Chicago. Like, whoa.
Wow,
So they
wow.
looked back up. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Trey, you got Tommy Sutton, don't you, man? Yeah, we got so many dudes.
So what about in our travels we've started to we started learning like Aunt Diane is a favorite of ours, a mentor to Trey and myself, and she learned from Leon Collins, who was from Chicago. But I'm trying to find anybody who has a connection to Leon Collins. Anybody in this room? Anybody? Had y'all ever heard the name? Interesting.
Diane brought him out. Then
I would have to see a picture.
Okay.
See, the funny thing is, I went back and I read Tommy's book late, after he had already passed. He did a book. It was like in 3 parts.
Okay.
And so two.
What was the name of that book?
It was called Tap Along with Tommy.
We got it out there.
Right. So
Peggy
two
gave
parts
us a
of
copy.
So 2 parts of it were instructional, and then instructional, like shorthand of his exercises and pieces and some of his choreography. And then the 3rd part was like some history, some of his history and some of his story, some of his personal story. And like the whole preface of it is just all of these shout outs to dancers that he either knew, worked with, or just respected.
Okay.
And like when I was growing up in Mayfair, like I said, my first teacher was Tracy. By the time I got to what was the advanced level at what was considered the advanced level at the studio, he had already left Chicago. He had already gone into semi-retirement. Okay. He had left. He had moved to Atlanta. He was teaching a couple classes at Spelman and a couple classes at the small studio out in the Atlanta suburbs.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What year I went to go see a performance at Chicago Theater, and you were in it? What year was that? It was with Tommy Sutton. It was with Mayfair. Do you remember that?
I remember. I know what that.
That's in like the late 80s.
That's
when I first met Tommy Sutton. Yeah, that's when I first met Tommy Sutton. But I have the flyer somewhere at home. But he did a solo in
that's
there.
early 80s. I feel like that's.
Wow.
I think that one's early 80s.
Wow.
Unless they did Chicago Theater twice. Because I know we did Chicago Theater and we did this whole thing. We
this was a big.
where they filmed the production over there
Okay.
for the
Yeah,
opening of the show. So we filmed the big tap piece that was the opening of the show on the street outside of the Chicago Theater. And so it was shown on the screen and it was simultaneously performed on the stage.
Okay, wow.
And I gotta mention my mentor, Cook and Brown.
Yeah,
Cookie
and Cookie and Brownie were both from Chicago, right?
Yeah, they left to go to. Yeah, they
So
left to New
you hear
York.
Reggio just said Cookie and Brownie. Cook and Brown.
Cook and Brown.
And both of them were from Chicago.
Chicago, man. They did all the Palladium, the Roxy, Cotton Club. They performed all those places, man.
So what year or years did Cook and Brown start in Chicago?
I would say late 30s, 40s, because he told me they hit the road with a group called Mammy and Her Picks. And that's how far I'm talking about going back. Yeah, that's really going back. That's when. So we going back, really going back. He said that was the first group.
Let me pause a second, y'all. Yeah. For everybody listening, there was a collective pause in this room.
Yeah,
because there's an ugly part of Tap's history. We haven't gotten into a lot of that. But so when you said that name, everybody envisioned seeing that on a billboard or seeing that somewhere.
Yeah, we're going back now.
Yeah,
so when you asked me, and that's what the
absolutely.
answer.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, that's they started back early then, and they were traveling with her.
Okay.
On the road.
Okay.
And somehow when the Regal Theater was around, which is the landmark theater that you are located in.
Yeah, the Regal used to be here on this very spot.
Your studio. Yeah. All the greats. They got into a show here.
Okay.
But he was telling me that Brownie went to see about getting a show here that the guy was putting on here, and he told him if he get a partner to dance with, he'll put him on the show, and that's he went and got Cookie.
So how did he and Cookie connect? Was that their first time connecting? Like,
no, I think they knew each other, because they danced and hung out in the clubs and listened to jazz and they danced. So we got Cookie, and this was after Mammy and Her Picks.
Okay.
Then this came in later on, and then they went on the road. They performed. He used to tell me, like, at all the places, the Cotton Club and the theater. Once the show ran its course in the theaters, the Cotton Club, then they take it on the road. Somebody would pick up the whole show and take it on the road.
Okay.
So then that's how they start traveling and eventually ending up in New York.
Okay.
Yeah. So we really going back 40s.
So what
60s.
about the Whitman sisters? Were originally from Chicago. Does anybody know how your legacy connects to the Whitman sisters? Oh, is that the Vino the
talking
mom?
Yeah.
Oh, we're back. We're back.
Man, he had a big personality. This guy,
Man,
you
he knew
like
the game.
him.
He knew the game.
He like your boy.
He was big,
the
boy.
tooth for nothing but the tooth.
Oh,
man,
wow,
he like
wow,
him.
Lord, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's
Like
still
that.
around.
Not here in Chicago. I think he's in Wisconsin.
Wow.
Somewhere.
Yeah,
but he told me.
Wow.
He told me to go after shows for the cake. And this is my first professional show right here at the Continental Plaza Hotel, downtown 909 North Michigan Avenue.
What year was this?
I was in a contest. This is in the 80s. I was in a contest. This is my first professional show. And I won. I tied for first place.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Come on.
Continental Plaza. It's called the Western now.
Yeah.
It's right across the street from the Hancock Building. Right across the street. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Nice.
Tap second place.
So I'm trying to see
Fino.
if anybody
Talking
here
mine.
has that connection to the Whitman sisters.
I think they were way
Well, yeah, but I mean lineage-wise. I know you didn't meet them. Yeah, but like anybody
Buster
they
Brown
talk.
used to talk about them.
Fino. Yeah.
You said Buster Brown. You
Talk about the Whitman system.
hold on, y'all know you can whisper, but you're still on the mic.
Are you talking about the Whitman sisters?
Yeah, the Whitman
Yeah, he
sisters.
used to
You
talk
said
about,
Buster Brown used to talk about them.
Yeah, that they was a big inspiration on him. Tap dance. He used to go see them perform when they would come up on the East Coast and in those vaudeville theaters.
Okay.
I'm glad you say that because I think it's cool that during our conversation that we representing all tap dancers, whether male or female.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it was funny because what I also studied flamenco in Spain and a lot of other dances.
Wow.
And some of the other dances, they have female steps and then they have male steps.
Mm-hmm.
But in tap dance, everybody can do the same step. There's no gender
steps.
recognition. A step is a step, whether who or what, where.
Yeah,
who,
yeah.
And that was like so amazing to me. So I'm glad that we do bring up female dancers as well.
Well, yeah, and I also think again that there's a lot of women who pioneered tap that don't get the credit, don't get mentioned. We don't talk about them because the Whitman sisters were producing shows at a time when women weren't producing shows, and they were black women producing shows, and they put. I heard Dr. Leonard Reed talk about them hiring him early on in his career. So some black women from Chicago back in the day was creating work for other dancers, and like I'm just like we don't talk about them enough. So that's why I bring them up because you're right.
And you know they was at that time they was considering. No, sorry. At that time, they were considering tap dance as a man's game.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
and
that's why they didn't get that.
And that's another one of those periods in time.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Ilea?
The Whitman sisters had their school here.
Yeah.
Inside of the Regal Theater as well. After they got done performing, so they taught a lot of people here too.
Yeah, so like this is literally hollow ground for tap history. Literally where we're sitting.
History.